there aliens at Area 51?
Oh my God, that is the.
They were in the Oval Office, 3 or 4 pilots. These are not people that make up stories. They said, all I know, sir, is there was a round object that was going 4 times faster than my F-22, which is a very fast plane. And it wasn't.
Oh, yeah. What? So Trump makes his first in-studio gut-filled appearance, huh? That's a little loud. We can bring that down.
Thank you. All right. First of all, I would like to apologize to tonight's audience and the viewers at home. We will not be airing the Steve Doocy cooking segment tonight. We apologize to Mr. Doocy.
Man, a good old laugh
be
track.
Able to get his new book,
like it's
Cooking
1990.
with Crisco, for free. Instead, we have a very special show tonight, so let's welcome our guest. She's still quite humorous with a fetus in her uterus. New York Times best-selling author, Buzzfeed contributor, Captain.
She was just on the Joe Rogan show.
But still appreciates indoor plumbing. Co-host of Outnumbered, Emily Campagno. His deltoid can deflect an asteroid. New York Times best-selling author, comedian, and former NWA
I don't know
World
if his
Champion.
deltoid could, but maybe something else.
And
Like that
he
chain.
loves Diet Coke, but hates the woke. Choosing this insanity over Sean Hannity. Let's crank it up
my
to
God,
11
what an
for
intro.
President 45 and 47. The man who at 6'2", fighting out of the red corner from Queens, New York, the 45th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
What an intro. Because he had a standing ovation from about 23 and a half people.
There you go.
Full set.
Mr. P, how's your golf game?
Well, haven't been
Gotta go
thinking about it too much lately.
Straight to the important questions.
I always said golf is a very dangerous game.
It really is. It really is.
Turned
Especially
out
if
to
they're
be
playing
true.
with you.
Yeah, that's true. That's
What, that was a mean
sad.
joke?
Pretty sad.
Did you, if they had told you that the shooter was there, would you have tried to take him out with your 3-wood?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. If I knew.
If I knew, I would. I would have hit him dead in between the eyes. He would have been gone. And they said, wow, that may have been the greatest golf swing I've ever seen.
Actually, the Secret Service did a great job. They saw the barrel of a gun, big gun.
Yeah.
And it came out through bushes. And how many people would see that? First, he really was very exceptional to have done it.
I know people are mad, but like the Secret Service, when he went out to golf, like the plan did work. There were a few holes ahead of him. They saw a barrel sticking out of a bush, right? And they're like, huh. And they walked over there and they found a dude who was camping out. Obviously, we know who that guy is. And I'm waiting to see more info come out for that. But shout out to the CIA or Secret Service or whoever it was protecting CIA, the Secret Service, for actually doing a good job protecting Trump.
And we've been going through a lot of it. We're getting very good at it, but I don't want to say that too loudly because we don't want to bring any jinxes along, Tyrus. Right? But it's
It is.
I mean, at least he could have yelled 4.
Yeah.
This is not a good thing to have practice at.
No.
Like, you're getting
No.
really good at stopping assassinations of Donald Trump. It's great. But I want to ask you, so Kamala Harris and the President Joe Biden, if he's still president, we don't know. They called you after you were you got shot at and to wish you well, to say all these nice things.
They did.
But they're the same people that moments before say you're a threat to democracy, an
Moments
existential
after.
threat, worse than Hitler. Does that mean that everything they say is full of?
Well, both
Yes.
of the shooters,
Yes.
one is dead and the other one is in prison. And it was really great work, again, by Secret Service. And a woman who saw somebody running and running for the car because he was caught, and the Secret Service agent started shooting at him, didn't do any talking, said just, that's a barrel of a gun, started shooting, which was amazing. That he saw it, and then he started shooting. And so this man is running to the car, and a woman, of course, woman's always a woman, right?
We just found out, yeah.
No, but think about that. How smart. Who would do this? She sees somebody running, and she didn't like the way he looked. He looked very suspicious, and followed him and took the car, parked it right behind his. And
You
said,
know what? Who else would do that? You are right, Trump. You see somebody suspicious, and you're like, what the fuck are they doing? I'm gonna get in my car and follow them and just kind of it's a white chick in every horror movie. Trump nailed it.
Started taking pictures of the license plate. Who would do that?
A Karen.
Literally.
And then sent.
Who would do that?
And then sent
Has
the
to be a
picture
woman.
to the sheriff, who's a great sheriff of Palm Beach County, and sent the picture.
I bet her name was
to
Karen,
the
too.
sheriff's office, and they got
Maybe
him
Sharon.
in a high-speed chase down the highway.
Yeah.
But who would do that? I mean, I said, out of 1,000 incidents, would that ever happen? And they said, very rarely a thing like that. So she's very much of a heroine, right? Heroine.
Yeah. You know, it blows my mind. Like
Heroin?
how you take these events
The weird.
so not lightly,
like
but
a
it's
female
almost
hero, but-
casually. The way like I get more angry when my pant pocket gets caught on a doorknob. I get angrier about that than you get angry about getting shot at. It doesn't. How do you process that?
Well, number one, do I have a choice?
Yeah.
Right? What am I going to do, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a choice? But, you know, it's interesting. I was thinking
Yeah, I think if he had to choose, he'd probably say, "Stop trying to fucking shoot me."
a lot about it over the last period of time since Butler. And being president is a very dangerous job because with a race car driver, that's a dangerous job. It's like 0.1% die. With a bull rider, I think bull riding looks pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than that die. With a president, what is it, 6% or 7%? It's the most dangerous profession there is. So if you want to be president, I have a lot of friends that wanted to run. They're thinking about maybe not doing it. But here's the only good thing is that it's always a consequential president that gets shot at. And fortunately, so far, I've been very lucky. Or something is greater than all of us.
Ooh.
It makes me so mad that billionaires pay less in taxes.
Shout out to the
than
man
I do.
upstairs.
And Trump wants to.
That's what Jay Trump was saying there. He said, "Man, I may be lucky or some divine intervention from the man upstairs. You know what I'm saying?" And the crowd goes, "Ah!"
Something is up there. Someone is up there, maybe watching over us.
I think he's voting for you.
Yeah. It's funny. I always thought the most dangerous job was feeding the view. But you bring up God. You bring up God, and you've almost been killed twice.
That's
Do you
funny.
think more about
God,
your own
Trump is funny.
mortality and what happens
You can't
after
not,
you go
even if you don't like him,
on?
you have to
Not
say
about
this man
mortality, but
is
I
funny.
do think more about God because, okay, Butler was really the greatest of all miracles. If I'm not looking over there, and I mean a full turn, exactly 90 degrees, I wouldn't be here right now, and your ratings would be a little bit lower, perhaps.
Yeah. We'd have kill me there.
We have to tell the story of how we first met. The ratings over. Remember that
Yes.
1 week he just played that thing, but I do think about that because the chart. It was
Trump's so
basically
petty, I
an
love it.
immigration chart. We had our lowest numbers that we've ever had in immigration, and I very rarely use it. Maybe 15, 20%. It's always on my left, and it's always at the end of a speech. So now I said, bring down the chart right at the very beginning, almost like the first sentence of the speech. Bring down that chart because immigration's such a big thing now with, you know, our country being basically taken over by Venezuela and lots of other people. So I said, bring down the chart, and the chart drops down, and I go, look at those numbers, and I look over to the right, and ping, and that was not, I knew something was
Damn.
definitely wrong. And
Damn.
it was a mess. I touched, I said, that's unusual.
Remember when you showed it to me?
I showed it.
Yeah, you showed it to me. You said, I know people aren't going to believe this, so Gutfeld, take a look at my ear.
That's right. You know, we met in at the convention.
Yeah.
And
Now everyone's
I
going to be
said,
staring
"Who am
at
I
that
gonna show
fucking
it to?"
ear.
You know, we have a lot of guys. You know, they'll say it didn't exist. And I actually did have such confidence in him, and he's really a very special guy, talented guy, good guy, great guy. And I said, you know, if I'm going to show it, let's do it with Gutfeld.
Yes.
And
That's amazing.
it's
That's amazing.
because it happened right after.
Yeah, how did you get him to see the top of your ear?
Well, I sat.
I
in a
sat.
low chair.
Okay, thank you.
But you know what? It was true. And I took the
I'll be looking out
bandages
for a little
off very carefully.
Yeah.
And I showed him. He said, "That's nasty."
Yes.
That was nasty. But
I
it healed
kind of
up.
wanted to touch it, but I knew I would
No,
have
he
been
didn't.
tackled. And I would have enjoyed it. But it's interesting to see the response to this second attempt.
You look
every
like a man
time
that
you're
would
under a
enjoy
bigger threat,
getting tackled by
the
other men.
media still blames you even more.
Yeah.
It's almost as though they don't see their own role in this. What do you make? Have you just basically accepted this as a fact?
I think so, yeah. Look, the media is extremely dishonest, extremely corrupt, actually. Look at the debate. I walked off, I said, that's debate. You know, they said I'm the GOAT in debates, because I had a lot of debates, and I became
They
president.
say I'm the GOAT.
And the GOAT means greatest of all time. He's a GOAT. But what a great stage. And I walked off that stage, and I thought I had the best debate. And I was very unfairly treated by the anchor. I'm not fans of those guys anymore. And his hair was better 5 years ago than it is now. Okay? That happens. That happens with the clock.
I mean, who among us?
That happens with the clock. But, you know, they came at me on everything like
He
crime.
is such a
I said the
character.
crime is rampant. He's
You know what I really do appreciate? I'm trying not to pause this. Is there's not a lot of word salads of just nonsense statements. Everything he's saying, even though it may not actually be like important, it's lining up a joke. If anything, it's setting up something. It's responding to somebody else, keeping all of the guests engaged. I mean, the dude's a personality. He's got aura. The kids would say.
crime is down. I said, crime is down. Who would think it's without even knowing? And I was right. The following day, DOJ announced numbers. I don't know who it was in DOJ, but somebody over there likes me. That crime is up 45%, murders up numbers like you wouldn't even believe.
You can't
And anybody
lie
would know
about
that without
yeah.
even seeing charts. But it turned out to be a false attack. They attacked the bloodbath. That was referring to the auto industry.
Right.
You know all these things.
Yeah.
Charlottesville was totally debunked by everybody, including Laura. Laura did a whole show on it, how it's so ridiculous.
And even Snopes, which is a left-wing
That's right.
site.
They even said.
Yeah.
But all of them, and
They're
they
talking about
didn't
during the debate
correct
when they
her
brought up like
once, and they corrected
2025 and
everything
all
I
of
said
these
practically.
like
I
clip
think
arm
9
things that
times or
Trump has
11
said.
times.
Take it out of
And
context.
the audience was absolutely, they went crazy. And I thought it was, I walked off, I said, that was a great debate. I loved it. You know, you got a lot of people watch. I guess we had 75 million people watching, something like that. And you have to do well. You can't do badly. For instance, Biden didn't do so well in the previous debate because I had the 2 debates. I had one. We actually had 2 debates. You know?
one
I
with
had one against a man, and then they said he's not doing well. Take him out. Put in a new one. And if she doesn't do well, I wonder if they're going to take her out. Just keep putting it. Let's see if we can get it right eventually. No, but a thing like that's
I
never
mean,
happened before.
he's not wrong. That's
Yo, I can't believe these shorts
he's
are
not
so
wrong.
awesome.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of what happened. Joe Biden. I still am flabbergasted that it's not as big of a deal that they knocked Joe out and put Kamala in. Like, yes, was he unfit? 100%. But he shouldn't have been able to run in the first place. And yet he's still supposed to be our president right now. He's not at the beach. You're telling me he's not at the beach sipping on like a banana split?
You know, it's like a fighter. He knows more about fighting, but I love the fighting. We love Dana White, all those guys. Dana is great.
Well, your
right?
history in boxing is second to
I've
none.
had more Mike Tyson fights than anybody.
Yep.
Mike is great, and they're all great. And they're, amazing people, really. It's a very hard thing to be a fighter. Number one, you have to be able to take hundreds of shots to the face within a couple of rounds and enjoy
least duck
going
one,
out for
yeah.
the 5th round.
Yes.
There aren't a lot of guys. A lot of great athletes have tried to be fighters. It doesn't work out so well. Very rarely does it work out. But this was something that was a very special moment. I thought this was a tremendous debate. And when you look at it, it's interesting.
Trump
now that they're
is
reviewing
an actual
it,
UFC or boxing fan.
it was
He
all
goes
word
to a
salad
lot of
from
the
her. The
events.
first question,
And
I said,
think
what
if
kind of an answer
you can
is
go
that?
to him and just
But the fake
absorb
news said,
knowledge.
she did well. No
I don't
matter
know how
what
much
you
of a
do,
fan he is, but
if I were
bet he's
Winston
knowledgeable.
Churchill, he was a great debater, by the way, and an elegant debater, if I were Winston Churchill, they would say, well, he was okay, but he wasn't special tonight. That was the kind of stuff.
You were
And they
exactly
were
the
saying-
same as the previous debate. That's what, if you
Yeah,
look at it, there was.
I think so.
Yeah, there was no difference.
I actually wanted that attitude. I've
Yeah.
had different attitudes, right?
Yeah.
And you never know about debate. It's a little like Mike Tyson said. He said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. And there's a lot of
Well,
truth to
don't
that.
say
Oh,
that
yeah,
because
and you walked
it
in,
seemed
you
like
caught
you got
three
punched
before
in
you
the
even
face.
said hello to you.
Well, I mean, I had people telling me that I'm wrong about things where I'm totally right. I was right about just about all of
Yeah.
that stuff, that they were correcting me. And I think my only regret is that I wanted to be elegant and I didn't want to go after the anchors. I wish I did, in a way.
So that's our job. We took care of them. We got
All right, we got to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back with more from the future president.
I thought that was.
Our
there
safety
more?
is under attack because of Kamala Harris's.
Once more, whenever I just sit down and watch Trump, and not in these like 2-minute clips, and you get to hear him go back and forth and have conversation, you realize how good at conversation he is, and I think that is just so important. And obviously, I'm pro-Trump, so I don't think Kamala is the best, even though she did, I think, win in that debate. I will say. I also think that debate was also kind of rigged in her to be in her favor. I think after now post debate, I don't think that's a far take statement.
Good video of the day comes to us from RFK Jr. During a recent event while campaigning for President Trump,
nice.
he was
This is
asked
the
what
next
he
part.
thought about Trump as a person, and he shared this amazing story.
I've known President Trump for many years, and on 2 occasions I sued him.
This is also another a great human being, I think, is RFK. But when it comes to communication, his voice is just so hard to listen to. But if you sit down and listen to him, he's super smart. And I also hope to look half as good as this guy when I'm his age. And this
He
is
was
Tulsi.
trying to build golf courses up in the New York City reservoir watershed. And I sued him successfully to stop that. And at one point, my wife, she wanted to go to Palm Beach for the weekend to see my mom over Easter. And I said, I didn't want to buy tickets for all the kids. And she said, what if I find a free ride? And I said, okay. Then she said, I found a free ride. And I said, who? And she said, Donald Trump. And I said, I'm suing him. And she said, he told me he knows you're suing him, but it's okay anyway. And we ended up flying down with him, and I had a great time. I still sued him, and
That's honestly funny.
It's such an interesting story because you kind of separate the friendship from the legal stuff. It's like, yeah, you sue me, I get it, that's what you do. Yeah. But I'm not, like, you want to use my plane, fine. I mean, some people would not understand that.
No, I think I have been able to do that. Otherwise, I would have nobody to talk to at all.
See what I mean? You
Greg,
see
it was
exactly
interesting.
what I
I
mean.
endorse people, and my endorsement record is very good. But sometimes I'll endorse people that said horrible, horrible things about me. And people say, do you have any idea what he said? And I said, you know, if I did that, I would never be able to endorse anybody. Because when I first ran, everybody was violently opposed to me. So I would never be able to endorse anybody. And I like to
I
endorse
said
people
terrible
if I think
things.
they're good. Honestly, you weren't so good at the beginning.
And I believe we have the tape. That's right. I'm making my move, Gutfeld. Roll it.
No, but I want to bring up, this is a friend of mine has this theory. He says that your campaign is like a pirate ship. You have this eclectic band of supporters that are individuals and different, but they're a pirate ship. But the issue with the pirate ship is every now and then you get a stowaway. So you get an odd person like a Scaramucci.
I don't like that. I like the Marvel
Omarosa.
Avengers.
You know, it's like, how do you...
I like him
when you have a
assembling the
pirate ship
Avengers.
of all these
But I guess he
different
could be
people,
Luffy. He could be
How
Luffy.
do you have any kind of
trying to get to
control,
the
or
One
is that just
Piece.
the risk?
Well, like the people that you mentioned, I don't know them very well, but the people.
You got Sanji, you got Zoro, you got Nami. I mean, yeah, you got fucking Luffy right here.
People that you mentioned, they all
Brock.
want to come back.
You got the whole
they
cast.
all want to come back. And when you don't
know
take
what?
them back,
Maybe
I don't
you were
want 'em
right.
back. Certain
Yeah.
people I don't
I was
want
wrong.
back. When you don't
Good
take
job,
them back,
Gutfeld.
they'll say anything. They make up stories.
Yeah.
They make up stories at levels that you wouldn't believe. Stories that bear no resemblance, that don't exist. It's like they're storytellers. But when you don't take people back, and they think of it as a glamorous life, I think, you know, my whole thing, the Sphere, I don't think of it. I just work really hard. We have to win this election to save our country. If we don't win this election, I really believe our country is either finished or very close to it, because we have to turn it. And if we don't turn it and turn it
I
now, it's
disagree
going to be too late to
that
turn
it'll
it
be
later. I really believe that.
that I agree with. I just don't think it'll end. But I definitely think
On
it starts
their
a
side,
slope
They have people like Lynn Cheney.
that's real slippery.
You know, and
Lynn Cheney.
Liz Cheney.
Yes.
No,
like, I
Liz
don't know
Cheney.
that.
Liz
I
Cheney's
don't know that
rough,
one.
but her older sister, Lynn Cheney, she's a monster.
No, it's Lon.
Yeah, no, remember?
Lon
She was
Chaney.
chasing us with a broken beer bottle.
Lon Chaney.
Oh.
But I mean, you have Elon Musk, you have RFK Jr., you have Tulsi Gabbard. These are all really strong-willed
We have
people.
great people.
Are
Elon.
you saying he has a diverse cabinet?
Dick Cheney also is like, was he not like me growing up and me being a Republican? I thought he was supposed to be like this war criminal, right? I didn't think he was a good guy.
No, we have great people. A thing just happened about 10 minutes before I walked in. The Teamsters, for many, many decades, always automatically support the Democrats.
Right.
This year, they refused to do it. And they took a poll, and we got 60% in the poll in the Teamsters. And they're not going to support the Democrats this year. They're going to, I guess, remain neutral. But that was sort of a big event. Nobody's ever expected a thing like that to happen. They actually took a poll of the Teamsters, of the people, the workers,
Yeah.
the people that really do the job.
I
and
honestly
they're good.
thinking
I've had many of them
not
work for me
supporting any
with the
candidate
concrete stuff, you know, the frames. They
Right.
put
and
the frames,
having that
they
poll
drive the truck.
speaks
So,
more so than
they
doing for
just
Trump,
announced
because
they're
that
not
could be
gonna
seen as
support
just
the
political.
Democrats. They're gonna remain
But them
neutral.
staying,
That
yeah,
individual poll was like
That's
10
huge.
to 1 average from
Yeah,
employees. Yeah.
We had a tremendous
10 to 1.
advantage with the people. And I think the people that run it, Sean O'Brien, who's the top guy, he's a great guy. But I think they said, you know, how can we support this person, meaning them?
Yeah.
But they have for decades, I think 5, 6 decades. They've never, I mean, it's been many, many years since they supported a Republican or did this.
You're seeing an interesting flip in like where the Democrats used to be the party of the people,
Yeah.
and the Republicans were the country clubbers. Since you came along, it's flipped. It's really interesting, and people go, but he's a billionaire. But it's a billionaire from Queens. That doesn't count.
Well, you know, one of the nicest things that's happened to me as a politician is that I get most of my money from people that average $61. Think of it. And that's never happened to a Republican before. It happens to Democrats, but at a much,
Wait,
it happened with
I'm
Bernie
confused
Sanders.
on that.
That would be the best example. But it's a tiny fraction of the money that I get. We get a lot of money from people. They average $61. And those people all vote.
What does
those
that mean?
people, they get, you
Like
know,
$61
we have some
an
people
hour?
That'll pay us like $25 a month every single month. They won't miss it. You know, they're very committed. There's never been a Republican where that happened too, where you get your money. It's called the small money. The small money is ultimately big money because there's so many people contributing. So, you know, that's like a great honor for me.
Yeah, I'm like that. It's something I always sign up for and then forget.
Well, that's.
Like Paramount.
Can I please ask a question, just because I'm never going to be allowed in a room with the president again?
Sure.
Are there aliens at Area 51?
Oh my God, that is the.
You know, I'll tell you, it's a funny thing because I think that might be a question that I get more than any question.
I've never heard anyone
It
ask.
is the craziest thing. So we have
Let's-
that so-called area. They consider it like a sacred area. And I will say this. I don't think I'm a believer, but I've interviewed pilots that look, I like Tom Cruise, but better than Tom Cruise. The blonde crew cuts, the whole, and this, yes, sir. They were in the Oval Office, 3 or 4 pilots. These are not people that make up stories. They said, all I know, sir, is there was a round object that was going 4 times faster than my F-22, which is a very fast plane. And it wasn't.
Oh, yeah. What?
You know, it shouldn't have been. It was round, sir. They have seen, I mean, 4 or 5 guys I've interviewed, solid people, great pilots for the U.S. Air Force, etc. They've seen things that they cannot explain.
Follow-up
So there's
question.
something.
Also a maybe. I think.
Follow-up question, Mr.
Maybe.
President.
Yeah.
Follow-up.
What?
If in fact there are aliens, would you be willing to put tariffs on them to help us with
Yes.
the economy? We're just gonna fly down in here.
We're going to have more fun because we got questions from the audience.
Gutfield, you can go fuck yourself. But a whole aliens? There's something to it? I did not expect that. Oh my God.